Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we will again discuss the Norton's theorem. Okay. So the basic idea of Norton's theorem we have discussed in the last lecture. Okay. So today we will solve one numerical based on that. Okay. So you can see that they have given this numerical. Find the Norton's equivalent network. Okay. Across the terminal AB for the network shown below. Okay. So this network is given and they have access to find out the Norton's equivalent, okay, network across terminal AB. So this is your terminal AB, A, and this is your terminal B. Fine. So this type of network is given. Okay. So if you see that when we draw the Norton's equivalent network, we have to simply find out only two values. Okay. The first value is called as the IN and the second value is called as the ZN. Okay. So we start with the first step. Okay. So first step here is determination of determination of value of IN. That is IN is called as the Norton's equivalent current source. So I have given you the procedure. So what is the procedure? Put a short circuit across terminal AB. Okay, so we have to connect this terminal AB. Okay, so I will put a short circuit terminal across AB and mark current IN there. Okay, so I will mark this current IN. Fine. And then by using mesh analysis determine the values of this IN. Okay, so we have studied how to apply the mesh analysis. So what we have done in the first step, short circuit the terminal AB. So you can see that I have short circuit the terminal AB and mark the current IN through that short circuit. So that will gives you the value of Norton current source. Fine. Now apply mesh analysis. So you can see that there are two mesh. So this is the first mesh. This will be the second mesh. Assume current here is I1 and assume here the current is I2. Now if you see that the current I2 is same as IN. So what is our aim? Our aim is to find out the I2. So for that you will write the mesh matrices. So I will write let I1 and I2 be the mesh current. Be the mesh currents. Okay. Now for this network you write down the matrices. The size of matrices here is 2 by 2 as there are only two mesh. And here we have two currents I1, I2. So this is your current matrix. This should be equal to voltage matrix. Okay. So I will write down the first voltage matrix. You can see in the first mesh there is one voltage source 20 and plus minus. So if you follow this clockwise direction, it will be voltage rise. So this will be 20 in the first mesh. In second mesh, you can see that there is no voltage source, so you can substitute here 1. Okay. So as there are two mesh, so this is the first and second. This will be the first and second. So there are four elements here. Okay. So note down the four elements. The first element is the summation of element present in mesh 1. So you can see that. So that 1 minute. So 40 is the first one plus this is J80 and this is a capacitor which is a minus J60. Fine. So this is the first. Second, between 1 and 2 there is one resistance and as it is a non-diagonal it is minus 40. This is again minus 40. What about this one? In the last one Z22. So you can see that in mesh 2 there is only one element whose value is 40. So this will be 40. Fine. Now after that you can rearrange this. So this will be 40 plus J80 minus J60. So this will be come out to be plus J20. Fine. Minus 40 will be as it is. This is minus 40. This will be 40. This matrices is current matrices I1 and I2 and this should be equal to voltage matrices. So this is the KVL equations or you can see that as mesh matrices. Fine. Now, our aim is not to find out I1, I2. Our aim is to find out I2. And if you see the network, from network, you can see that I2 is same as IN. So apply the Cramer's rule and find out the values of I2. So by Cramer's rule, fine. What is the value of I2? Your I2 is equal to delta 2 upon delta. Fine. Because we know the value of I2. So now write the determinant. So replace the second column of the Z impedance by this voltage matrix. So it is 40 plus J20 minus 40, and this should be 20 and 0, and divided by the delta matrix. Delta matrix is your impedance matrix. So it is 40 plus J20. This is minus 40. This is minus 40. This will be 40. Fine. Now simply solve this determinant and you will get the values of I2. So I will solve here. So it is 40 plus J20 multiplied by 0 minus 20 into minus 40. Fine. Divided by, this will be 40 plus J20 multiplied by 40, fine, minus 40 minus 40, fine. Now you can solve this. So your I2 is come out to be, this will become 0, and this will be 20 into 80. This will become 800, okay, and minus minus become plus. So this will be 800. Right? This will be 0. So 8 into 0. Now multiply this 40 into 40. Okay. So this will be 1600 plus J 40 into 20. This will be 1800. Fine. So this minus sign will be as it is. This will be 40 into 40. Okay. So minus minus. Fine. So this will become plus. So this 1600 and 1600 will get cancelled. So what is the value of here? 800 divided by J800. Fine. As you can see that these two value will get cancelled. Fine. So now if I get this, your I2 is come out to be 800 by this 800. So you solve this in your calculator, you will get your answer as minus J1. Okay. Ampere. But we want your answer in uh, polar form. So if you solve this, so this one will be become as it is. Okay. J means 90 and minus means minus 90. So this is 1 at an angle minus 90 ampere. Right. So this is the value of the current I2. Right. But we are not interested in value of current I2. We are interested in value of IN. And from network, you can see that IN is same as I2. Okay. You write the next step. From network, your IN is same as I2. So you get the last answer. Your IN, that is the Norton's equivalent current source, is 1 at an angle, sorry, 1 at an angle minus 90 ampere. Fine. So this is our first step where we have find out the values of current IN. Right. So I have simply applied mesh analysis. We have done so many times here. Fine. Now, what is the second step in the to draw the Norton's equivalent model? The second step here is to find out the values of Zn. Okay, the second step is determination of Zn. So, to find out the Norton's equivalent impedance, we have to deactivated all the independent energy sources. Okay. So this is a voltage source and this voltage source should be replaced by short circuit. Okay. And we will find out the impedance seen from the terminal AB. Now we will draw the network. Okay. So the network we will be getting here. So here we have an inductor. Here we have voltage source. So now that voltage source is replaced by short circuit. Here we have a capacitor, and here we have a resistance. And here this is the terminal AB. And you have to find out the Zn seen from this terminal AB. Okay. So voltage source is short circuit. So I think this is 40 ohm, this is J80 ohm, and this is J60 ohm. So if you see this, these two, that is this inductor and this capacitor, both are now connected in series. Okay, because you can see that the same amount of current is flowing through this inductor as well as capacitor. Okay, so this circuit can be modified like this. So I will combine both, so we will get impedance. This 40 ohm resistance will be as it is. This is terminal A and this is terminal B, and we have to see here that is Zn. So this will be 40. Now what will be the value of this impedance? It is simply addition because it is series, J80 minus J60. So your answer is come out to be J20. So after reducing this diagram to this, now we can see that this impedance and this resistance both are now connected in parallel. Okay, so what is your final answer? Zn. Your Zn is actually the parallel combination of 40 and this J20 ohm resistance. Okay, so now just simply solve this parallel combination and you will get the values of Zn. So it will be 40 multiplied by J20 divided by 40 plus J20. Fine. So if you solve this, this will be J800 divided by 40 plus J20. Now if you will get the answer is 8 plus J16 ohm. Okay. But we want your answer in polar form. So when you convert into polar form, it is 17.88 at an angle 63.43 degree ohms. Okay. So this is the value of the Norton's equivalent impedance. Okay. So we have calculated the first two steps where we have find out the values of IN. In the second step, we will calculate the value of ZN. Now the third step is remaining, and which is the last step in this question. Draw Norton's equivalent network. Okay, and if you see the question, they have asked us the Norton's equivalent network. Okay, you can see that find Norton's equivalent network. So that will be our final answer. Okay, and we have discussed that Norton's equivalent network is simply the parallel combination of IN and Zn across the terminal AB. Fine. So I will make this will be your IN, and across this terminal AB. Okay, so this will be values of IN, which is a equivalent current source, Norton's, and here we have the impedance. Okay, and this value of the impedance is Zn. Okay, and we have calculated the values of both this IN. I think we have calculated one at an angle minus 90. Yes, you can see that, which will be 1 at an angle minus 90 ampere. Okay, and ZL just now we have calculated it was 17.88 at an angle how much 63.43, 63.43, and this diagram is actually called as Norton's equivalent network. Okay, so in this question they have asked us find the Norton's equivalent network. Okay, so this will be your final answer where we have find out the Norton's equivalent network, right? So in this way I have finished with my question.